What's going on, everybody? It's Wednesday. That means me and Raj are coming to you at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time, talking what else? Niners. As Raj uh, tries to shove as much of his Taco Bell down his throat before we started the stream, my man doesn't stop. He goes right from work to YouTube, no time off. So I gave him a chance to choke some food down so he didn't choke on stream. Uh, how you doing, Raj? And man, we got some Niners football this weekend.
Finally, yeah. Thank you for letting me eat because I literally got home like 10 minutes. I was rushing. I was like, oh my god. And people at work were like, sometimes because some of the people that follow me from work, they're like, you go home and you're just boom right there. I'm like, I gotta grind, man, because I work all day. Come home, finally get on YouTube, and so thank you for letting me eat. I need it. I was dying. Shout out to Taco Bell, keeping the belly full. Yo, sponsor me, Taco Bell. Let's go. Niners are on
Right.
weekend, baby. Let's go.
Did I say it was Wednesday? I meant it's
You
Thursday.
did
We
say,
used to do a show Wednesday or Tuesday. Wait, I'm lost.
yeah.
Okay, we
We
used to
Tuesday,
do it
then
Tuesday
Wednesday, and now it's
and now
Thursday.
Thursday. It's just how it works. People have lives, you know. We're not
Some
sitting at our computers in sweatpants making YouTube content. Some people actually have to work for a living.
some of us do. It's kind of I would get it, but working all day. But you guys don't care about my work schedule. We care about the 49ers, and the 49ers played this Sunday. What do you think, Aaron? How you feeling this week?
Oh boy, I don't know, man. I if you would have asked me 6 weeks ago, I would have told you the Niners are going to the Super Bowl and no one's going to stop them, and they have the best roster in football, and everything was positive. But the 3-game losing streak going into the bye week definitely tempered my expectations of this team and how far they could actually go. I will say that the Niners are relatively healthy,
Mm-hmm.
relatively. You know, they could have some guys back, and we'll talk about that. I don't want to spoil it, but going into the bye week, losing 3 straight, I don't know how much more motivation you could possibly need to come out in the second half and play better. But I listen to a lot of stuff. You know, I watch a lot of stuff, and I'm just like, I'm sick of the listing and I'm sick of the watching. I'm sick of all the right answers that are being answered when they ask questions. Just go out there and do it, dude. Just go out there and perform.
I'm tired of the lip service. But
Right.
speaking of players coming back, so I kind of titled this was Trent Williams returns to practice today. That to me is the big news of the day. Trent Williams, who's been dealing with the ankle sprain, Aaron, he's been dealing with the ankle sprain, and he's missed some games. He didn't practice. People are worried. Yesterday, Kyle said his ankle sprain's a little bit more concerning than they initially thought. He came back to practice today. That is huge. Trent Williams is back today. And that to me is monumental because the 49ers absolutely need Trent Williams, not just
Oh
for
yes.
protection, but for the run game because the run game has not been effective without Trent Williams. He's the heart of this offensive line. They're already going to be without Aaron Banks because he's got, turf toe. So they desperately need Trent Williams back in the lineup. I was happy to hear that. Hopefully he can practice tomorrow and he can play Sunday. He's not out of the clear yet, but the
Yeah.
Trent Williams is back today is huge, huge, huge news. What do you think about Trent Williams back in the lineup today?
I'm slightly excited, but I don't. It's one of those things where, like, if you're not 100% healed and you're only good to play a quarter, then why come back? It doesn't do anything for me, and I don't think it does anything for the team. Like, 1 quarter, a series, 2 series. Like, is he feeling pressured because of the losing streak to come
Mm-hmm.
out and do something? Is he feeling pressured because, other guys are dinged up and he feels like he needs to justify his contract? Or does he really feel that he can go? I don't know. It's to me, from one day Kyle saying one thing to the next day he's practicing, it's kind of like a little bit alarming and jarring. But I am not Big Trent. I don't have his mind or his body. So if he feels like he's good to go, good to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna trust him on this. He's played for many years, but it is nerve wracking, because this is a big time player. He's getting paid a lot of money. He's the anchor of this offensive line. If he's not there, obviously, like I said, the offensive line is not 100%, and they don't have the running attack that they normally are used to, and that's what is what the 49ers offense is predicated on. It's running the football. It's getting CMC the big yards in space, and not only that. being able to open up lanes for everybody. Like, yes, you need to protect the quarterback, but they can't even run the football because he's not there. Like, I know Jalen Moore's played okay, especially in pass protection. That's not the issue. Running the football has been an issue, and they have to establish that. And speaking of Trent Williams, it's okay that he's back. Maybe you're right. Maybe he is feeling pressured. Maybe they're just trying to test it out and see how he feels. Again, tomorrow's another day. Hopefully he practices tomorrow. Can he go back-to-back days and practice and feel okay? I mean, Trent's a big guy. He's a tough guy. I'm sure he could tough it out. But if you play and he's still not 100%, how's that ankle going to feel in 3-4 weeks after some big games? So the big thing about this injury to me tells me the 49ers desperately need to make sure that offensive line is the priority this offseason, no matter what happens. Whether they win the Super Bowl, whether they make the playoffs, whatever happens, Aaron, they have to get a offensive lineman to replace Trent Williams in the future because he's not playing forever. He might be gone after this season. They need to make sure that Trent Williams replacement is an absolute priority.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think they traded those top 2 picks this year. They know it.
Yeah. I made this point on another stream. I said that, it's coming back to bite the 49ers. You made the deal to get Trey Lance. It didn't work out. You essentially threw away 2 first rounders and traded up with another. Those 2 back-to-back firsts, those 2 years could have meant addressing offensive line and corner, both offensive line, whatever. And now the Niners are kind of left in a lurch. So they have to come out and, like you said, and a lot of people are like, why are you guys talking about the draft and whatever? But this offseason is crucial. If it means, hey, if I don't know how much, can they save any money if he retires and keep Chase Young and sign a rookie tackle? Like, could that be something that could actually happen? Because if that's the case, that would be the best case scenario. No offense to Trent, but he's this happens every single year. He never plays a full season. He's a fantastic player. He's probably a Hall of Famer, but he's always hurt. So it's I don't know.
I'm sure they're going to explore their options, and maybe Trent stays for another year. But even if he does stay, you're right, Aaron. He might get hurt again next year. He's missed games every year he's been on the team, and he's a Hall of Famer. He's so good. But when he's gone, the disparity in talent on that offense is huge. And
running the ball is almost a non-factor when they don't have him in the lineup.
Absolutely. And as much as I do like the theory of getting a top-notch first-round offensive tackle, not a lot of rookies could come in and replace Trent Williams. So if I'm the 49ers this offseason, I might trade for one of the top free agent or one of the top offensive linemen out there, or I might go look into the free agent market and see who's the best available offensive tackle, because that's a premium position. Now, the thing is, it's going to cost them a lot of money because offensive linemen, you pay them a lot of money, just like defensive linemen. The top ones are paid a lot of money. So
edge, tackle,
yeah,
quarterback.
So they might not be able to get Chase Young. They know they're kind of in this position where maybe they got to pay Brandon Ayuk. Who knows? I think they need to spend their money on offensive linemen. And I know, like you said, we may be getting ahead of ourselves, but we're not, because we're sitting here talking about Trent Williams, who's back. But how long is he back for? How much is this season going to, hamper? How much stress is his body going through? He's played 14 years. Wear and tear on those ankles is a serious thing, man. And I think at some point they need to start looking and say, can we get Tristan Wirfs? Maybe they prioritize that guy over anybody. The 49ers with Tristan Wirfs, hello. They'll be good for a couple of years after that.
Yeah, that would be a fantastic. I want to say hi to the chat real quick. We got quite a few people. Debtopia in the chat. She says, hello, Raj. We have K or Key in the chat. He says, Raj. So they don't care about me. They're all about you. That's
they love you, man. They love you.
We got one of my favorite people, my new favorite people in the whole world, Red Jet Shell. She says hello to all. You resemble somebody, Jet. I don't know if you remember the show, because you look a lot like her. The show, what is it called? Boy Meets World. The girlfriend of one of the characters, I think it was Ryder or whatever his name was in the show. You look very much like a very famous person. I was like, is that her? Is she like a YouTube fan / 49er fan / actress? Like, what's happening here? So
that was a good show. Show.
Topanga was who didn't love Topanga?
Celebrity crush back in the day. Shout out to Topanga, man.
We have Tej Beats in here. He says, let's go. Christine Workman, kind of new to the channel. At least I'm newer to the channel and to yours. What up, Faithful and Raj? Enrique, he says, what up, Raj? Like I said, everybody's here to say hi to Raj. They don't care about me.
Just add Aaron to it. What up to both of them?
My boy Jimmy Perez knows what's up. He says hello, Aaron and Raj.
There we go.
What do we got here? We got I don't even know how to say your name.
Oscar Joe. Yeah.
Oscar Joe. He says, I thought it was Thursday. Yeah, I know. I made a funny early on. Susan D says Taco Bell sounds real good right now.
So good. Honestly, I hadn't eaten all day. It was so.
We got my guy Frank Tom Ocean, who's always been loyal to me and my channel for years. Bashar, of course, always bringing me laughs off of YouTube. We message each other like two girls, like high school girls, like, oh, Aaron, you're not gonna believe this. Look at this. Look at this. We got Peter Parker in the house. He says, thank you, Susan. Thank you for coming through. Susan D, thank you for coming through. We got a lot of people in here tonight. 49ers Throwback, always here to support everybody.
He's the man.
Hold up, Aaron. Your last show, you diminished content creators for dog and others, but just took a ticket and viz. Oh, that was okay. It's not as big of a diss as you think. It's an inside joke. Could be me. We could be talking about each other. So
I want to make videos in sweatpants, Aaron. Let me.
I want to make videos in sweatpants too. We got Omar in the house. He says, "Congrats, big dog." I think he's talking to Peter.
What's up, big dog? What happened? Congrats. Did I miss this? What happened?
I'm not sure either.
Maybe they'll comment it. Whatever happened.
Congrats. Oh, somebody got married, I think. Somebody got married. I see it.
Oh,
good job.
Let's go.
What else we got? Yeah. We got SF Flood. He says, what's good, Faithful?
Oh, boy.
What do we got? Allegedly, Steve-O. Donald Trump's in the house. What's up? He says, Levi Stadium is the worst professional sports. Is the worst. We do not deserve a Super Bowl ring.
Donaldo. It's Donaldo Trump.
Donaldo, sorry. Donaldo Trumpus.
Levi Stadium is not that great. I will agree. I don't think it's the worst professional sports, but I'm going to say it's mid. For being a stadium that's only 10 years old, it's definitely mid. It is.
Yes, it was Angela. And you know she was like 10 years older than everybody in the cast, and she looks amazing.
She was great, yeah.
She is, let's see, she's got to be in her early 50s. She looks all right. She looked good. That's all I got to say. Everybody else, thank you for coming through. David McNiner. We got Blankner. Big game. Blankner. We got Big City Man. We got my boy Charles in here, talking about the Chiefs. He knows I hate the Chiefs. So, yeah, definitely a big game. Big game. We got Ted Talks Ball in here. He says Skype attire.
Let's go, my boy Ted. What's up, Big Ted?
Ted is like one of my favorite people. Ted, I wish I was friends with Ted's in high school because I was bullied in high school, and Ted would have like had my back totally.
Ted was a guy, man.
He looked like a guy that I wouldn't want. He looked like one of the guys in high school that threw me against my locker.
He probably would have bullied you back.
He probably would have bullied me back, but he would be like, move it, pencil neck.
Move or lose it. He would say, get your ass on the grass. Speaking of getting your ass on the grass, the other big news this week, Aaron, is Steve Wilks is going to be coaching from the sidelines. Kyle Shanahan made the executive decision. We all know he was supposed to talk with Steve Wilks. And the end result was he told him, get your ass onto the grass. You're going to be coaching on the sideline. Today, Steve Wilks talked about it, and he says, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It is kind of a big deal because we all been talking about it. He says, it's not that big of a deal. You guys are making it bigger than it has to be. And he kind of said, he basically reiterated what Kyle Shanahan said, right? Kyle says, I want him on the field to communicate better with the guys. I want to be able to look at the players. These guys are used to it when D'Amico and Salah were there. And today he goes, yeah, I just want to have better communication. I mean, if that's the case, if you wanted better communication, then it is kind of a big deal. If you can't talk to him, this should have been done weeks ago. What do you think? Do you think it's going to make a difference that Steve Wilks is on the field? I mean, the way some people look at it is if he was bad at coaching in the booth, he's going to be bad at coaching on the field. Although what Kyle's saying is he wants him to look at those guys in his face, hold them accountable if they mess up, have that communication. And that's kind of where they're looking at. Again, to me, it's crazy, though, because it's basically Kyle Shanahan putting his coach in the doghouse. I absolutely love it that he said, listen, we're making an executive decision. I'm putting my big boy pants on. I'm the head coach. You're going to get on the field. What do you think?
I really don't know. I really don't know if it's going to help. I don't know. I don't get from Steve Wilks that he's a rah-rah guy. I don't get from Steve Wilks that he's like a communicative guy who, walks up to players and this, that, and the other. He just seems like a guy who calls the plays and the players got to go execute. That's what I get. It better work. It better work. This defense has been absolutely atrocious the last 2.5 weeks. I'll say against the Browns, they were okay. But against the Vikings and against the Cincinnati Bengals, they got exposed. No rush. Coverage was horrible. I mean, it was just one big giant crap sandwich. I asked this to somebody. I'll ask you, if the season goes sour and things don't, or at least we don't get to where we got to go, somebody's falling on the sword. Steve Wilks right now, based on what's happening with them moving from the booth to the sideline, with having to address plays in a game and, having to get behind a mistake and own up to it, kind of looks like he's being kind of maneuvered to be the guy who's going to fall on the sword after this
He's
season.
a scapegoat. Yeah, he's a scapegoat. And again, saying what Steve Wilks today, I want to reiterate what he said today, because he said, it's not that big of a deal. Like, he's trying to brush it off, like sweep it under the rug. It's not that big of a deal. We've lost 3 games in a row. And he says, I'm built for this. Like, we've been through adversity. I'm the type of guy. Like, he kind of seemed like he was cocky about it. But then he says, I'm not trying to be cocky, because I think he caught himself. Like, the way he was saying, I was like, bro, you're sounding cocky for a guy that's had your defense get worked 3 games in a row, right? So he kind of caught himself. He's like, well, I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm just saying I know who I am. I've been in this league for a long time. I've coached many years. I have a lot of experience. It's like he's saying, like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to fix it. I'm that guy. You can talk all you want. Lip service me all you want. I need to see the results on the field. I need to make sure this guy is doing it on the field, because you're right. If the 49ers don't win these games, or they don't get to where they need to be, because we expect a Super Bowl. We expect at least division, champions in the NFC West. If you can't do what you need to do and you're getting dog walked out there, someone has to take the fall. And right now, if the season ended today, he would be the fall guy. And I think Kyle's pivoting him to put him in that position. And again, Kyle put this man in a doghouse. You don't see that a lot from a coach. You see players. Kyle puts players in the doghouse a lot. But to have a coach out there, I swear to God, man, this guy he better feel the pressure. Like, to me today, he sounded very nonchalant, like he doesn't feel pressure. I hope it's just lip service, and that's just him talking to the media and giving everybody, I'm okay. I'm a tough guy. I want to know that he's feeling pressure, because this man, his seat better be flames, like flames.
His ass better have like 4th-degree burns on it right now. Like, what are you doing, bro? Tej Beat says people need to realize Wilks is a DB coach, not a defensive coach. Huge L signing. I agree with that. I was happy when they first signed him, because I thought he was the best guy out there. You weren't going to sign Fangio. Fangio's a 3-4 guy. The Niners would essentially have to turn the whole defense around.
But that's what they're doing. That's what Steve Wilks is doing.
That's essentially what they've been doing with this guy.
So he lip serviced him again.
He's got this weird vibe of like, I was a head coach before, and like, I'm just here biding my time until another head coaching position opens up.
How I felt. I was talking to someone yesterday, and I was like, I looked back actually at all the games last year. He was Carolina. He was the interim because they fired their coach. He took over, and he was okay. He actually did a good job. He kind of had Carolina competitive. Like, they were winning games with him. And the media at one point was like pushing for Steve Wilks for the head coach job. I hope they get him the job. So I think he did good enough, and the 49ers saw that. They're like, oh, we have this guy that's being very highly touted for a head coaching job. We can make him a defensive coordinator, keep him around for 2 years. He'll become a head coach again because he can't screw this job up. Look at the talent we have. And then after he leaves, we'll get some compensatory picks. I really think that's what the 49ers thought. But lo and behold, here he is switching the defense, and he's screwing it up because he's trying to get, cute. And I think he's trying to show the NFL, like, oh, look, this is my defense. Look at my scheme with these guys. I'm doing. All he needs to do is keep it simple and don't change what was going on. Like, that's what Kyle wanted. He said, we want a defensive coordinator that's going to come in and just run our system. And I think Steve Wilkes talked a good game because, again, when he's on the podium like today, he talked a great game. It's all lip service. He probably sweet talk. Kyle Shanahan says, oh, yeah, we'll stay. We'll keep the defense the same.
I'll babysit your kids, man.
Yeah, I'll do what you need me to do. And now he's up in the booth. Kyle can't tell him to do anything. So now Kyle says, you're on the booth. If you screw up, I'm coming for your neck, Steve. I love it. That's why I love this man. At first, I didn't want this. I was like, I don't think it's going to make a difference because if he sucks in the booth, he sucks on the field. But the more I think about it, I'm like, oh, my God. I want to see Kyle rip this man's neck apart if he fucks up. I want to see Kyle Shanahan look him in the eye and scream at him. I want to see it. If he messes up, he's going to be held accountable. Brilliant move by Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion.
Julius Calloway says Wilkes can rely on the assistant coaches that are in the booth to help with play calling while being on the sideline with players.
Smart.
Yeah. This whole, I don't know, him in the box, he just seemed like he was just like, everybody else is getting excited around him, and he's just kind of sitting there like, oh, there's this game's almost over. Okay, one more week, another week off the my defensive coordinator time here. I don't really want to be here. I just got hired because of, nobody else wanted me. So the 49ers did me a solid. I don't get it. I don't like his vibe.
I don't either. He kind of just rubs me the wrong way. Initially I wasn't sure when they signed him. I was like, okay, whatever. It's DC. You can't mess this up. Because I thought you can't mess this defense up. They reloaded. You got Hargrave. We were excited. Okay. And that kind of throws your mind off. You got Hargrave. You got Bosa. You should be good. You got Fred Warner.
Right.
And in training camp, I kind of liked him. I was like, okay, he's kind of hands-on. He's teaching these guys. And you get a good vibe from him because he's there. And you're like, okay, he looks okay. The game started week 1, week 2. And I remember people were starting to like, I don't know. I don't like this defense. Although he made the adjustments, I was like, okay, he's making the adjustments. It's not horrible. But as the weeks kind of progressed, he wasn't making the adjustments as much. And now there's a lot of pressure on this guy. So and the way, like you said, his vibe, just the way he talks in that press conference, I'm like, I don't know, man. He just seems too confident for a guy that shouldn't be confident right now.
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, some of the players have been like that recently. They've gotten under my skin a little bit too. Like, oh, we're going to turn it around. It's like, I heard Dante Whitner say, just because you did something in the past doesn't mean it's automatically going to happen. Like, you got to make it happen. So I hope the players aren't adopting his mindset of like, oh, it'll just be. It's like, no, it has to be only if you make it be. Can't just like, yeah, we'll get it together. Okay. And let's see it. Susan D says he made one memorably awful call. Beyond that, I think the players missed a lot of tackles. True.
That's true.
And other teams outplayed us. Also true.
Also true.
He's not perfect, but people are being too blamey. I like that word, blamey. I tend to be very blamey too.
I feel like he just has big shoes to fill. We expect more out of him because they had Salah and D'Amico. And look, it took him a little while, both of those guys. I know it took him time, but he has a lot of pressure. And I think why people are upset is because he already had the blueprint given to him, and he's going away from the blueprint. And again, what Kyle said this offseason was he wanted a defensive coordinator. That's not going to change the game. And if they wanted a defensive coordinator that's going to change it, they could have got Fangio. They could have got somebody else, but they didn't. They stuck with
Norton, sign away from Seattle, wherever he is.
Fans are being blamey, that's a great word. I think that's what it is he said it. He told Kyle, I'm not going to change anything, and he's changed it. So I feel like people are a little.
We didn't blitz before. Now we're blitzing.
I think they feel jaded, but she's right. Susan's absolutely right. Players are missing tackles. That's not on the coach, and they're getting outplayed. But the adjustments not being made, that's on the coach, and players he's putting players in bad positions. That's
certain players don't sound like they're too keen on him either, like Bosa. When Kyle's asked about him, he doesn't exactly defend him. he kind of just says that everybody, the old cliche, everybody needs to be better, not just him, which really means, yeah, he sucks ass. But, Susan D, she says, I remember the first 5 weeks people were hella jocking him. I wasn't.
No, not
I
everybody.
wasn't, and I got subtweeted or whatever they call it when somebody tweets about you, but they don't want to say your name. I made a comment about the Niners defense looking kind of soft, and they weren't getting sacks, and their coverage was kind of weak, but because they were blowing everybody out, it was kind of swept under the rug. And then somebody made a tweet essentially saying, I should just be, happy, and that I need to stop picking at stuff. The Niners are 5-0, and I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, but as a fan who's been a fan since 89, 90, I kind of see things coming as far as problems on the field. And I saw problems coming, and I'm like, man, when we play a real team, man, they're going to gut us. And it's exactly pretty much what happened. What's happened. So,
And I saw a lot of comments saying that, because I'm not going to say that everybody was jocking them, because there were a lot of people. The people were happy. They had the rose-colored glasses, 5-0. I was like, oh my God, Super Bowl team, 5-0. Oh my God, we were great. But I remember, because I go live all the time and I see a lot of comments. I got a big public page, and I see the comments and I see the key, the themes. And I saw a lot of people saying this team is good, but Steve Wilkes might hold them back. And I saw that a lot. It wasn't just one or two people. I saw a lot of people say that. And now, this stuff has happened, and they're saying, look, I told you so. I've had a lot of people message, be like, told you, Raj. So it's not just one or two people. There were a lot of people that did see it coming, that did see all this. But she's right. There were a lot of people that were like, oh, look, this is great. Da, 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 da. He's got no problems. But I think some people just didn't want to accept it because they were winning. They made the adjustments, because that's the way I saw it. It's like, yeah, they kind of struggled in the first half of this game, but look how good they did in the second half. So I was like, okay, maybe he's just a slow starter. But now I think you're right. The kind of issues he was having, they caught up to him.
my brother asked me the other day, he goes, if Saleh got fired, would you take him back with the Niners? I'm like, yeah.
I would call him
Kidding
up.
me?
Rob, yo, Bob,
kidding?
Bob. You want the job? Okay. You still got Steve Wilkes on the payroll? Hold up. Give me a second. I'm going to make a call. Hey, Steve, have a good night. You're fired. Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah, Robert, come into the office tomorrow. You're signed. Immediately.
Have you ever seen that the skit where it's supposed to be Todd whatever Todd something, and then Mel Kiper?
Oh, Todd McShay.
And he's like, Todd. I forget it's who's doing it. I think it's Caliendo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who it would be on the telephone with Kyle. He'd be like, Bob. He wouldn't like stop saying his name until he picked back up.
That's it.
I gotta listen, man. I'm old enough to know that, like, I don't want to see anybody get fired or lose their job, especially around the holidays.
Yeah. Not
saying that he's going to be financially like in a lot of trouble. I'm pretty sure they're probably still going to pay him regardless. But man, and I don't want to blame him completely, because the players, I heard Fred Warner say all the right things 3 weeks in a row, and shit didn't change. So, you can hum and ha and be all super like, just go do something, man. I don't want to hear it. Like, I hate excuses. It's just the worst. And the thing that gets me, it's people are like, well, they're athletes, they're not, robots, like, yeah, but this is a bunch of really high priced guys who've done it in the past. It's like they have a history of being good. So what's the problem? What happened?
What's going on? Why is it?
What's happening?
So, as a fan base, as a fan, as someone that analyzes it, you have to pick a reason. And one of your reasons is, okay, it has to be this. And like you said earlier, Wilkes is going to be the guy that falls on the sword. So right now, as a collective, that's the guy that's fallen on the sword for everybody that's talking. Content creators, has to be Steve Wilkes. So he's kind of the guy that's drawn the short end of the stick. It's not just him. We talked about the O-line, struggles on the O-line. We talked about, the offense has not been where it needs to be. We'll talk about Brock in a minute. He hasn't been 100%, but also
Brock.
Also, this defensive line. Let's talk about the defensive line. They have
I have that set up. You have a super chat. Somebody super chatted you before.
Let's put it up, man. Shout out.
Bring it up real quick.
Bring it up. I don't think I can. Let's see.
It should be on your side. Oh no, it was on my side. It's way up there.
All good. It's from Frank Tom Ocean. He says, "Congrats on monetization on the new channel." I don't know if you can pull it up, but appreciate you, Frank Tom. Been put a lot of work into YouTube. As I was telling Aaron this before we started the stream. Like, I work all day, you know, and sometimes I want to be able to create a YouTube video, like the spur of the moment when big news happens, and I can't because I'm in the clinic, in the patient, driving to people's homes and stuff. So by the time I get home, it's late, and you know, I finally put the content up and stuff, and I come live, and I so appreciate everybody that actually tunes in because there's been content all day. By the time I get to it on YouTube, people have talked about it, so I totally appreciate everybody that supports me and the channel and my boy Aaron because we've been doing this together, and I feel like we're a team, and he's helped me kind of grow on YouTube and restart my program here on YouTube because, you know, last year I had a different page, and it's been an adventure, but thank you so much on the, you know, the super chat and, you know, the congratulations and stuff, because it is tough, you know, working all day, sometimes 12 hours. By the time I get home, I'm like, fuck, I got to go to YouTube, make some chat, make some
I got to go to Instagram after YouTube.
Right after that, I go right on Instagram.
Me and Bash were talking about that last night offline, but Bash is like, he's live. I'm like, yeah, and he's like, he was just live on YouTube. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's kind of normal.
And it's not just like to go live, you got to go, but like public speaking, sometimes speaking in front of people, it takes a lot of, you know, a lot of work. And then, you know, being home from work, sometimes you just want to like relax, but I got to keep the energy. Boom, come on Instagram and keep the hype, answer the questions. And so, yeah, appreciate you guys.
Raj is a funny, knowledgeable, and great person overall. I'm happy to call him a friend. Likewise.
Likewise, my boy.
I can't wait to come to the West Coast one of these days and meet up with you and Bashar.
Oh, fun times, man. I'm gonna have to do this like Harbaugh used to do the cap.
That's I want to do a chest bump with you when I see you, though. You better have some rocks in your pocket so I don't go send you flying.
Yeah. I'll probably send you flying. That's how much energy.
Right. Watch. He's like super muscular and like my fat ass just goes plop.
Well, that's what last time I saw Bash, I gave him the little Harbaugh, you know, chest pat. He was like, "Well," I was like,
he was all bruised up after, like, I've got to go make some kebabs now to make myself feel better.
I'm surprised he didn't call the cops on me and, you know, call the.
I like to report an assault.
Yeah.
Happened at 49ers training camp. Don't be thrown off by his stature, please.
Oh man, appreciate everybody in the chat tonight. But yeah, let's talk about this defensive line. So the 49ers, as we know, it feels like we've been talking about this for 3 weeks because the 49ers have played in a long time. They traded for Chase Young. There's been a lot of. We've seen the content. We've seen him with the fresh visor. Him and Nick Bosa are inseparable. They're like always standing side by side. How do you think this defense is going to, come out on Sunday against the Jaguars? They got a tough test. Is Chase Young going to be the difference maker? Everybody's excited in the locker room today. Kittle was like, "Oh my God, it's so great to see a Young on the Niners jersey again. I'm hyped up. He's so big, larger than life." We saw Bosa, you know, he called him in 5 minutes after he got traded. This team is absolutely excited to have Chase Young. He's in a contract year, basically. He's hungry. The better he does, the bigger his contract's going to be, whether it's with the Niners or not. He's coming in locked and loaded and focused. I think he's going to have a hell of a second half, and I think it's going to make Bosa better. But what do you think? Do you think the team is going to go absolutely crazy and have like 10 sacks this weekend, 6 sacks? Like the Chargers went wild this week, and they
I think if the defensive coordinator calls a great game, I think we have a chance to have a really special defensive performance against the Jags, regardless of what they do.
Okay.
So it has to be a solid game called. On top, I think the two of them on the field, I mean, me and you talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
We say this every time we do a stream. We talked about it in March that we weren't satisfied with what they had on edge. And everyone, like a lot of people attacked me and were like, you know, you got to support the guys that are here. You know, Chase or, Drake Jackson's going to be fine. The Niners don't need to overspend. And then sure enough, their pass rush has done nothing. I think they have the potential to be really good on Sunday.
Okay.
But it's just, I mean, everybody's got to stop talking. There's been a lot of talking the last 3 weeks. There needs to be some action.
A lot of hype.
I want to hear it. Yeah, there's just the Niners, they all say the right things, and they've been there, they've done it, and they have the experience to talk and say that they can come back from it. So I believe them. But it could be a great game on Sunday. I think the Niners, God, I hope everybody stays healthy. I don't know, a 6-sack performance, maybe 2 from Chase Young, 2 from Bosa, and maybe 1 from Hargrave and
Armstead.
and Armstead. We get the whole defensive line gets to eat on Sunday.
I mean, I
Kind of
don't.
like the old days with D Ford.
I think Chase will have one. I think Bosa will have one. I think we'll get two. I think both of them will come Sunday ready to rock and roll. Maybe they'll get two, but I think they'll each get at least a sack. I think Chase, honestly, is going to go wild. This whether the 49ers make a deep run or not, whatever happens, Chase Young is going to get his because he's in a contract season. So he's going to go. His mindset is, I just need to do the best I can. He's having the best season of his career. Actually, he's on pace to have the best season of his career since his rookie season when he won the Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's ready to go out there. I don't even think it matters if he signs with the Niners or not. In his mind right now, he's just focused on, I need to have a monster year because the better he does, the more money he's going to get. And if the 49ers are going to want to keep him after this year, if it's not just a rental, the better he does, it's really going to make them consider, like, man, can we pay him this much money? It's going to really dictate on those decisions. But regardless, Chase Young, I think, is just focused. Like, I've seen all the videos I've seen him in practice, and he just looks like
he looks great, and he looks great.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. If you're just going based on aesthetics,
yeah,
just a physical aspect of him, he being a big guy and strong and all that. He looks the part. And now it's, the comment from Julius was Chase Young was supposed to be the next Bosa coming out of college, and maybe he could be back on track. Injuries have been an issue for him staying healthy. He also, there's talk that he's not as much of a student of the game as Bosa. He relies more on athletic ability, strength, more than working on technique. I don't know, maybe with Bosa, with them the second half of the year, maybe they can make something work where they could both help each other, mutually on the field and also classroom wise. So, like I said, it sounds good in theory, and I hope it can work. But it's still we got a second half of some difficult teams coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Ravens, we got Seattle twice, we got Philly, Jacksonville, and then I think it's Jacksonville and the Cardinals. The Niners, they keep saying again the right thing, say a one game season. I think it's time to put that to the test. I'm just looking forward to having a game to watch on Sunday.
I know I can't.
It was nice to have no stress, but at the same time, I'm like, I have such an awful taste in my mouth.
I know.
It's like throwing up. It's like throwing up acid reflux in your mouth when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
And you can't get to the refrigerator fast enough to cleanse it from your mouth. Like, that's pretty much what it is. Like one big acid reflux booger.
Yeah, it sucks because the last time they played, you lost, and you're just like waiting for that redemption. And we had to wait an extra week. And you're right, the games aren't going to get any easier. So I think these two are going to be great together. I mean, it seems like they're just so excited. They've wanted to play on the same team since college. The last time they played, Bosa's season was cut short because of the groin injury, like you mentioned. But when they did play, it was very disruptive. They were both, like Chase said, they would rush to the quarterback, and it was a race to see who would get there first. I think if all goes well, man, they're going to feed off of each other, and it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fire. I think it's going to be a magical duo, man. I think these two guys are just going to be fun together. I mean, we saw, if you watched Washington and seeing Montez Sweat and Chase Young, that was very disruptive defensive line. And I think the 49ers could be very similar to that. Those two guys were just, it was tough on other teams. Like, that's what I think these two guys can do together, make quarterbacks' lives a living hell. And that's what the 49ers haven't been able to do this year. Because you're right, Drake Jackson, he's been getting bullied on the line. And I think this Chase Young move is...
I'm sorry, Drake Jackson, you're not for real.
I hate to say it, man. We kind of called it this offseason. You know how bad
I did.
Trashed for that take on Larry?
Yeah,
like,
we were told that we wouldn't have enough faith in our own guys.
Oh, you don't know ball. Watch the film. This man gets pushed every week. It's like I'm out there running.
He's got one move. He's just big. Wow.
I like his talent. He's not strong enough.
No, he's not strong enough, and he doesn't have enough technique. No. You can't be you have to be able to do more than just like have bend and have some bull rush. Like, you got to be able to, your hands, different moves, spin moves, whatever, stunting. Like, there's got to be more than it's not like Madden where you just press the trigger button and you just go forward. It doesn't work like that. I mean, Julia says Young, Bosa, Armstead, Hargrave, Gregory, Kinlaw, Farrell, Jackson, most depth since 2019. Yeah, on paper.
It's good on paper, but they got to go.
On paper, it sounds great, but we'll see.
We'll see. Terrell and Jackson, we hyped them up in the offseason. They haven't done anything. And going back to like Chase Young, like you say, he doesn't have a lot of technique, but he's super athletic and he is strong. Like he's put himself in a position where he can rely on his strength. Where
Why don't they should put him inside? Maybe they should make him a D tackle and tell him to put some weight on.
Drake Jackson?
Yeah, but he doesn't have enough strength now. He wouldn't be able to survive.
That's what Kyle told him last season. He says, put some damn strength on. And he was stacking days in the offseason, but he didn't stack enough.
Stacking day. Listen, this is the one thing I cannot stand about offseason talk.
No.
Everybody's stacking days. Everybody's grinding. Everybody's working out. And the same guys get hurt every single year. The same guys have the same issues staying healthy. I get so sick to death. I love Kittle. He's a great guy. He works out like a madman in the offseason. My man's always hurt. He's always hurt. He just is.
Stacking days.
They talked about D Ford in the offseason stacking days. Always hurt. Never played.
He was stacking days on the injured reserve list.
He was stacking days, cashing checks, not playing. That's what he was stacking. He was stacking his money.
Robbery. Highway robbery, Aaron.
Yeah.
Robbery.
The Chiefs probably were like, they can't be this dumb to make this move. Yes, we were.
Desperate because they missed on OBJ, so they had to make plan B. That was their plan B. Because when the Niner fans saw that the Niners didn't get OBJ, they were fucking irate. So John Lynch was like, all right, plan B, send D Ford. D Ford, diffuse the OBJ situation. Because I remember that day. I remember the notification. I'm posting the news going, oh my God, the 49ers didn't get OBJ. Because I was sure that they were getting it. I remember OBJ is on the way. For those that follow me, you guys remember the song, OBJ is on the way. Boom, Cleveland with the bomb, Schefter bomb. And I'm going, oh my God. I was walking back to my car to drive home and the news drops. We post it. And then all of a sudden, literally 5 minutes later, as I'm about to make a rant, I was live making a rant. Boom, 49ers traded for D Ford. I'm like, what just happened? It was definitely plan B because the 49ers knew they had to quell the 49er fans because they dropped the ball there. That was a crazy day. I remember.
He says, you think healthy, Julius says, you think a healthy Chase Young is better than a healthy D Ford?
Absolutely.
I don't know. D Ford, healthy was pretty special.
He was good. But yeah. I think Chase Young, he looks like he could be such a great player. But
he looks like an all-around better edge rusher than D Ford was essentially a speed rusher.
Speed guy. But
bad against the run.
When he was on, he was
beautiful. Hey, real quick, guys, if you're watching on one channel, you can watch on both channels, 49ers First Takes podcast and RSF 49ers Live. We're multi-streaming, support both channels, drop a like, comment, subscribe, follow, all those great things. And helps the algorithms with all that happy stuff. I'm very looking forward to seeing it on Sunday, but at the same time, it's like, I just, my heart is a little bit unable to take if we start struggling again. Like it's like, I have to mentally prepare myself if, it's going to be a tough game. Like Jacksonville's no slouch. This is not your mama's Jaguars. This is a good team with really good quarterback. Question to you. Will the secondary get some much needed good news as far as Luter and Womack? Are either of them going to play, or are they still practicing and then just like whatever? Because that's kind of the vibe I got. It was just practicing and whatever.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So Darrell Luter, Robert Beal, and Sam Womack all had their practice windows open this week, right? So they haven't played. Darrell Luter's not even played he didn't even play in the preseason, offseason, training camp. This is the first time he's like literally practiced with the team since minicamp. But minicamp is it's whatever.
Minicamp is just people walking around in shorts. That's all it is.
So you're just getting the vibe of the team. You're doing your drills, your conditioning stuff. Darrell Luter hasn't even played for the 49ers. So I think they're going to kind of see how he feels. And again, when you open up a practice window, it's really to see how much can they tolerate. Are they still in pain? Are they having limitations after they finish a day of practice? I think we're close. If I had to guess, I don't think those guys are going to play this weekend, but I think it's going to be very close. I think that Sam Womack will probably play next week. If I had to bet, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back next week. Again, you open the practice window, you give them a 3-week time frame, and in that 3 weeks, they have to be able to come back to play. So I think we're very close, but if I'm a betting man, I don't think they play this weekend. But it's a good sign that they're coming back because they need depth, especially if Isaiah Oliver has another game where he shits the bed. They're going to pull the plug on this guy. But again, just because these guys are back doesn't mean that they're going to be guaranteed a spot because they have to look like they understand the game. And especially Luter, again, he's never played on the 49ers, so he has to
Yeah,
learn.
he's never played professional football.
He's
He's
got
only
to
played
catch
in
up.
college.
He's got to get the scheme down. So I think if any one of these guys is to play, it's going to be Sam Womack because he did play last year as a rookie.
And he played well last year.
He did. He did. He did.
I am not an Isaiah Oliver fan. Not.
Sad.
He sucks. I'm sorry.
He's a Steve Wilkes guy.
He's a Steve Wilkes guy, yeah. Didn't one of his other guys not make the roster?
Miles Hartsfeld, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he knows so much about defensive backs, and both of the guys that he's either liked or brought in have both sucked major donkey balls, like just bad.
Tells you what you need to know, my boy.
There's a reason why you're not a head coach. Let's see here. I'm trying to see the comments. I'm trying to take the temperature here. We got Omar who says that Kittle is going off this week. Bet on it. And 49er Minus says Kittle is due. I feel like I can be down with that, but I feel like Debo being back means like Debo might have a big game this week because I feel like Debo needs to be. I think Debo needs to be what's the word? Not spotlighted, but he needs to be the center of the offense, like the focus. Like he needs to be put on the field. I think Kittle. It's amazing. Like we're losing to the Bengals, and now we start forcing it to Kittle, and he has this huge game. Same with Ayuk, but neither of them really contributed to the final score. It was just a bunch of empty numbers.
It was just
I don't want Kittle to be that guy.
Yeah, it was like filler stats. But somebody in the chat, let me see who it was. Someone, let me look at the comment. Let me see. Brian Meza says Debo is a difference maker, and I think so too. So
coming from a guy who was hard on him, saying that he's injured a lot and they should trade him, I don't stand by my remarks.
So important. I said it for so many weeks.
Super important.
He's the key to this offense. He's the heartbeat. He's the heart and soul. He's the tone setter, whatever you want to call it. Like he's the guy that gets this offense rolled, revving. He gets the engine revving. They need him. I think he could have a big game, but also he doesn't need to have a big game. He just needs to be there. The motion plays, the little screen passes, the little, slant passes. Those things set up so many little things in the offense. So, and he's also takes up space that opens up for guys like Ayuk. It opens it up for Kittle. Debo's presence alone opens it up for everybody. So, yeah, I think Debo could have a big game. I'm just glad he's healthy, man. We need this guy. And he's a captain. You can just see when he's on the field, his presence makes a big difference.
Their offense isn't the same without him.
No, it's not.
Coming from a guy who thought maybe his better days were behind him and that Ayuk's the man, I'm less sure about Ayuk now than I've ever been. I don't know if the Niners spent a ton of money on him in the offseason.
There's a critical junction for Brandon Ayuk.
Could they trade him and go draft a wide receiver, kind of like what Minnesota did when they let go of Diggs and then they got Jefferson?
It could be one of those situations. And I know a lot of people are thinking that's crazy because the other day there's rumors, Brandon Ayuk might be on the trading block. I don't think that's a crazy thought because you're right. He's going to want a lot of money, but will his production justify that? I think
you can't disappear in games like he does.
Yeah.
And say, oh, he was bracketed. Oh, he was this. Oh, he was that. All the greats get bracketed. All the greats get double covered.
And he's been dropping.
And he drops crucial plays.
Uh-huh.
His body language to me sometimes, I lose my mind. Like the oh shucks, whatever body language. I want to put my fist through the television.
And the guy, man, he's uberly talented. Like, again, we all know how good he is at separating. Like Debo says, he can get open in a phone booth. Like, he has so much potential, but sometimes it just doesn't explode on every game. Like, you would expect it, those 3 games where Debo was out, or those last 3 games where they lost, like, to him have a bigger impact. He didn't have as big of an impact as I thought. Now, there was other issues, like we said, the run games, the O-line, things like that. But still, you would expect him to maybe, like, take over the games, and he just hasn't. Like, for him to be a top 10 receiver, he's still not there yet. But again, there's half a season left, and if he goes crazy, I think that he'll justify his say. Because one thing I will say about Ayuk, he traditionally is a slow starter. Every year he kind of starts slow, and then second half, boom, he takes off. And I think he's gonna hit that trajectory because he said it yesterday. He goes, November, December is for all the dogs, right? That's when the dogs come out to play. And I feel like Brandon Ayuk is just such a slow starter, and maybe this is the week where he boom bumps up, because after the first game, I was like, oh my god, this is Brandon Ayuk going to go crazy this year, because he had that
Yeah.
2 touchdown performance against Pittsburgh, and after that he's been very quiet. But I think he can, if he has a good second half, whatever just happened those last 7 games doesn't matter, because that's what we need. We need him for the stretch run, the November, December, the money type months. These are the months that matter. This is where you get paid. If he wants to get paid, this is where you earn your bread right here. If you don't, Niners could trade him and get a cheaper option.
January, February. Is it June or July? What is this song? I don't know. Whatever. Laura Cat is here. She says, hi, Aaron and Raj, the dynamic duo. Great to see you, even if it's towards the end.
Appreciate you.
It's never the end. It's just see you next time.
Exactly. Hey, I got a question for you, Aaron. So we talked about Trent Williams today. We talked about how, we want to see him come back. Hopefully he does. Now, let's say Trent Williams comes back. Jalen Moore has actually played pretty well, considering everything. You think the 49ers should move him to right tackle? You keep Trent Williams, Jalen Moore over Colton McKivitz. Colton McKivitz, to me,
let him fight it out with Il Manning in training camp next year.
Right now, though, we need a better right tackle right now.
You talking about right now?
Yeah, right now.
It can't hurt. I mean, what's his name's been pretty bad at right tackle.
Colton
Mick Kivitz. He's a Mick. I'm part Mick. I'm Irish. Yeah, he hasn't played too well. I mean, if it means that we get slightly better time to throw the football, and Purdy's not getting slammed to the ground and his head's getting bounced off the turf, then yeah, why not? He looks like a bobblehead when he gets hit because he's so small.
Yeah.
49er Mana brought up Ronnie Bell needs reps. It ain't gonna happen this year. I'm telling you right now, Bash. It's next training camp next year. Kyle don't like rookies. He's got an aversion.
When Juwan Jennings is out of the team, Ronnie Bell will get those reps.
And then we're going to be like, I can't believe we never tried earlier to get him the ball. We say this every time when somebody comes up and all of a sudden is really good. It's like, don't you guys get it? Kyle does what Kyle wants. Kyle's going to Kyle. That's just how it is.
And then people are going to be like, Kyle should have played him.
No, he should have played him last year. That's why he needs to be fired. Yeah. And John Lynch needs to be fired. They need to bring him. Like, here we go. Every year, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Got all those people are not real Niner fans. We should talk about Brock Purdy getting back on track.
Let's talk about Brock. He says that he had to take a deep breath, take a relaxation, just clear his mind to focus for the second half. He was in Iowa,
saw that.
Doing his farming on the tractor.
That made me like him more than you realize, because
I love it. He just was like, I'm a regular dude. I need to clear my mind. I'm gonna go with my family. I'm gonna ride this tractor, and I'm gonna refocus myself. I absolutely love that Brock Purdy, just went out and he didn't do any silly bullshit. He just went out, cleared his mind.
Did he go to strip clubs throwing dollar bills at girls? or with porn stars with gigantic hooters? Yeah, he didn't do any of that.
He's just riding a John Deere.
He's just riding his John Deere tractor.
Yeah, I love it.
VZ, we've talked about Trent Williams and the possibility of him playing on Sunday and how key it might be, or how key it will be. We've talked about the return of Debo and how 49ers offense will be unlocked. We talk about Chase Young and the possibility of the Niners pass rush, eaten against Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, the typical kind of news, we both think that the Niners pass rush will be well improved, but it's mainly going to come down to Wilkes not calling a bad game and Isaiah Oliver not screwing things up in coverage. If he could just not be toasted for 1 week, just 1 week until maybe Womack comes back. But I got a really, you won't believe, man. So they posted the picture of him doing the farm work, and somebody had the audacity to freaking kind of like make fun of him. I'm not gonna say who it is, but like, oh, look at this is what our quarterback does on his time off. Like, that's he doesn't look like an NFL quarterback. Was the Facebook post or the tweet or whatever.
Come on, he looked like he's a young man that wanted to spend time with his family, and that's what you do on the bye week.
To get back to Brock Purdy, I think Brock Purdy needs to kind of settle down and let the running game hopefully, catch back up with this offense. And he needs to not force things. I think Brock plays good for 3.5 quarters, and then he's forced to kind of be, at least right now, someone that he's not, and that's a guy that can take the game over.
Yeah.
What sucks is, I really am a big Brock guy, but he has come up a little bit small in the clutch. It's just the honest to God's truth. He's played good, but he's also done a lot more in games than a lot of people want to give him credit for. Like, he's made some big time throws, some guys not even open and like going into a window and they catch it. Like, I mean, he is limited, and I could see, like, sometimes when you watch enough of somebody, you could kind of see where their flaws lie. But I've seen plenty of quarterbacks, I've seen worse quarterbacks, Jimmy Garoppolo, get pretty far with this team and be carried. So I think Brock can do his form of carrying as far as playing well. I just think that, he needed that time off to rest his body, to rest his mind, rest his brain from getting bounced off the turf.
Yeah, the concussions. I think he just needed that time to get some R&R, man. And I think that's what it is. It's all about refocusing, regrouping. That's what the bye week's for. Take some time. It's a exhausting season mentally, physically. These guys, go out there and get hit, get their brains crushed for 17 weeks a season. You need 1 week to just kind of relax, man. And he needed that. So I'm happy that that's what he said that he did, is just took a breath, relaxed, and he just went back home and got back to basics, man. You need that. And I agree.
I'm 100% on, decompressing. The thing that Aaron Rodgers does where he goes underground.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd quite go to that, but I would definitely like to go off the grid.
That's what I do on my time. Like, sometimes because I work a lot, that, and very stressful. It's a job with
it's very people centric.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to, like, detach from life, and when you're working in the job that I have, it's a very high burnout type of job. Like, people that do my career, like physical therapists or rehab, or anybody in healthcare, they get burnt out. Like, I know people that have worked for many years and they switch careers. Like, I'm close to that point, because you just get so burnt out. You're around negative things all day, people that are sick, people that are dying. It takes a toll. So, like, some days on my 1 day off during the week, I do nothing. I stay inside. I just relax. I try to recalibrate my mind, detach.
Do you sit in your sweatpants?
Yeah, sometimes I do. I just sit in sweatpants, watch football all day, and just relax, man.
Post videos on YouTube.
Yeah, post exactly. So I'm glad. I think this team needed it. I think Brock needed it. But what you said is true. Is sometimes he tries to do a little too much in these last quarters, these last couple of weeks. He plays hero ball, because they have had some injuries. Debo, CMC, Trent. I think he's trying to put too much on his plate, and he's young. I think eventually he can get there, but it's still very early in his career. I think that he will get back to what works, and running the ball is the key. And if the 49ers can reestablish that run game, that's going to help him get back to basics. But I'm all in on Brock. I think he'll have a bounce back week this week, and then just back to basics, get back to what works. And, I think this bye week will do this whole team well. The only problem is we're playing another team that had a bye week. So, they're well rested too. It's going to be a grind of a game on Sunday, man. Early game. Jaguars got a good young team. Travis Etienne, he's as good as it gets. Him and CMC are two of the most all-purpose type backs. They're both great. They can catch, they can run, they can do it all. They got great receivers, Calvin Ridley, and then who's the other guy? Christian Kirk. They got some dogs on that team, man. And their defense, oh man, good young defense. Josh Allen, he's one of the better edge rushers in the league. So the 49ers are gonna have their hands full for this weekend, but I think they can do it. They got a big shot of adrenaline getting Chase Young. And the cool thing about getting Chase Young, which Jordan Schultz talked about yesterday, he says that the 49ers were in a tight race with the Jaguars and the Ravens to get him, and they came over the top. They were able to give him, the best offer. So the 49ers already beat the Jaguars once this season, getting Chase Young. That would have been huge if we had to play the Jaguars with Chase Young on the other side with Josh Allen. Holy
that
smoke.
That would suck.
Can you imagine the Ravens with Chase Young? Oh, God, that team's already
Ravens look like a team that could be in the Super Bowl this year.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. I don't trust their quarterback in big games. These teams, he tends to come small.
Lamar's looking crazy this year. MVP type season.
Yeah. Randy Daytona Yeah, David McNiner says to Randy Daytona, I would trade Bash and Ted for a first rounder for Wirfs.
No, no, I wouldn't.
Why would you give away my guys, man? Brock is experiencing growing pains, says Observer Natural Evolution. Observe Natural Evolution. Thank you. Brock is experiencing growing pains. We expected that. I talked about it before the season. I said we were going to come to a point in the season where people are going to say, "See, there it is." He sucks. No, he's going through what everybody goes through. But some say the play calling is ass on both sides. Jimmy was a vet doing the same mistakes. We expected that. Yeah, I mean, you don't never want to make light of when somebody plays bad or doesn't play well in the clutch. I mean, it's what it is. But I also look at a lot of the whole picture with his play, and I feel like he's played very, very well at times. So the Niners need to stop being in a position to where it's on him. They need to start going back to where they're beating teams by 20 points in the fourth quarter and they can rest starters and stuff. So
Honestly,
Chase Young, I hope he makes a big difference on Sunday. I really do.
I do too. Honestly, I don't care how much they win by this week, Aaron. I just want to see them win, man.
The Niners just need to win. I don't care. I don't care if it's by 3 points. I don't care if they get a safety to end the game.
I don't either. I just need to see a win because this timeline, 49ers timeline needs a cleanse because if the 49ers lose their fourth straight game, oh my God, it's going to be absolutely nuclear. Oh God.
What was Bosa's bye week like? He didn't want to say.
Comment. I think he might be dating someone because if he says anything, there's going to be room.
Bosa was getting busy.
I'm sure he was.
I was getting busy on the bye week. I wouldn't be saying nothing either. I'd be like, I was just exercising.
Yeah, he was getting his cardio in.
I was just getting my cardio in. There's different ways to get cardio in.
I love that he said at the end. He goes, they were asking. He was like, he tried to like find words. He was like, I don't trust people. That's what he just said. I don't trust people. He knows if he says anything, people are gonna just. I mean, you got people like me that are waiting for a news tidbit. I'm gonna post it. I mean,
easy. We all rest differently. You damn better believe it. Hell yeah.
I want to see.
Call it rest. Call it cardio. Call it.
Who's he?
Zen moment. Whatever.
Who's he hanging with? Who's the girl? Because we all know. Look at Travis Kelce. This man. All people talk about it. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. So if Bosa tells us who he's having his cardio with, oh, that's all we talking about. That's all we talking about.
Hey, it's your life. You do what you want.
Yeah.
I had no place can judge. Anything else going on with you on the channel this week, or is it just business as usual?
Business as usual. Grind it. YouTube videos as much as I can after a long day of work. Tomorrow. Prediction show as we always do. Friday, me and Bash are back. We didn't get to do last week because it was, I was busy. But we're back tomorrow. Prediction show with my boy, 49er Minded. We're going to talk about the Jaguars.
Go check that out tomorrow.
Hopefully we get all the news of the day wrapped up and we figure out who's playing for sure. I'm sure we will. Tomorrow it's an early practice for the 49ers because they got to get on a jet to Jacksonville. They got to prepare, get some rest. That game's an early game on Saturday.
Yeah. It's good for me though, because if the Niners lose, I can go and eat food after. Man, I just cracked my neck while you were talking, and it felt amazing. Okay. Woo! I've been trying that one for about 3 days, and it finally popped.
Man, I hate those. Darren.
What's that?
I hate the early games.
Yeah, it sucks, but sometimes I like being able to by 8 o'clock be relaxed. 7 o'clock. I hate I don't know. I get headaches when games go too late. And then if I have to eat, and then if say sometimes people want to stream after, it's just eh.
Yeah. Well,
so
you're ahead. So the game for you is not really early. For me, I'm barely waking up.
Wait, what time is the game? Is at
10 a.m. So for me, I got to get up early, get my coffee.
Oh yeah, because it's 1 a.m. for me.
Or 1 p.m.
1 p.m. I will be. If all goes well, tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, it will be me and Jason Aponte.
Ooh.
I reached out to my man, and he acquiesced.
Wow.
So after his show on his channel, he will be on my channel. We'll probably go about an hour. I don't want to keep that man going. He's got, life. I haven't talked to him in a while. He's a New Yorker like myself. So I just want to get it. I just want to get Jason's take. Jason's a really great, articulate just well like spoken individual when it comes to talk about the 49ers.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's one of those people when you have a stream with him after, you're like, man, I need to get into my books and reading, and like some people are very, very articulate when they talk. So I have an appointment with the Ponte. That's what it's not. Yeah. I'm
Nice.
looking I'm looking forward to it. I don't really reach out to anybody anymore because I know I've told you before, and me and Bash have talked about this. It's like sometimes when you feel like you're reaching out to somebody, there's like almost like a feeling of desperation, and some people are bigger content creators, and it's almost like I have a time between this and this. I can squeeze you. It's like, you know what? No, forget it. It's good. I just hate that feeling. So,
But people are busy. That's how I am. I'm like, look, I got time between here and here. You like it or not? I just,
yeah,
doing a lot of
but
stuff.
yeah, life is life, and everybody has one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that tomorrow, and then I think me and Bash are going to be on his channel on Saturday if he's good.
All right, very good, very good.
So I have a full week, and then of course Monday, the 49ers Niners Coast to Coast will be back on my channel on Monday. Hopefully, we're talking about a victory.
Hopefully, man, I can't take another. I hope we're not sitting here talking about a loss. Although the last 2 weeks,
one of my fists is gonna be bloodied because I'm gonna end up punching something.
Last 2 weeks, the post game shows have been jumping. The 49ers are losing. Everybody wants to go spend their money. Like my shows have been popping after the game. So, I mean, it is.
Sometimes you get your best content after a Niners loss
because they want to hear you pissed.
Oh, when I was flipping out the other week, I forgot after what game. Everyone's like, "Go, Aaron!" I was like, "This is the most animated and probably the most watch worthy I've been as far as like people actually wanting to watch me. Like, wow, he actually has a personality. He's not like monotone like always." So
you're a good guy. I don't know. Any final thoughts on the diet?
I think it's huge if Trent and Debo can play. Trent and Debo playing is it's big time.
I think so.
Debo is our Tyreek Hill, and I never thought I would say it, but he's that important in this offense.
He is. Yeah, absolutely. He is.
He's like a slower, more muscular version of Debo or Tyreek.
He's the straw that stirs the drink, my boy.
Yep. I never thought I could say that. I thought he was disposable, but the more this season has went on and he hasn't been on the field, and we have had Ayuk, and Ayuk's been kind of disappearing on us.
And I said that all off season, and people are like, "Oh, yeah, he's the better player. He's the better route runner." I said
he's a better route runner, but he disappears.
But in terms of Kyle's offense, Debo is he's more critical. He's the key to this offense, and I've said it many, many years. And people are finally seeing it this year, but it is unfortunate for Debo because he does play such a physical style of football.
Yep.
Tough on his body.
It's Debo is like a good for about 11 games a season, and then that's pretty much it.
It's like him and Kittle, man. It's because the way they play, and that's how Kyle's offense. He needs like these physical, like bulldog.
When you want an offense that doesn't throw the ball down the field, and it's essentially a lot of like misdirection and window dressing, and a lot of just a bunch of stuff. Unfortunately, you're going to need guys that use their bodies as battering rams. We don't have the ability to, at least with Brock and the receivers we have, to throw the ball down. I'll tell you, and this is one of the things that I feel like sometimes holds the Niners back, is that the Niners don't have the ability sometimes to sit back, drop back, and throw 50 times a game. They're just not built that way.
They're not.
Miami's slightly more, but Miami's kind of the same. Where like if one guy is not playing well or this guy's not playing, like their whole thing gets thrown off. And I feel like the Niners,
like the other day when they played Kansas City, when Tyreek fumbled the ball, that just shook them apart because Tyreek wasn't able to get going, and Waddle had the back injury. Like when their speed guys aren't able to be speedy, they're limited, and that's what's been happening against great team. Like they haven't been able to beat a good team in like over 4 days.
Yeah, my brother's pretty pissed off about that.
Sickening to see it for if you're a Dolphins fan, but that's the problem is teams know it. They're like, all right, just limit one guy and make Tua beat you, and Tua can't beat it. Like he has not proven that he could beat teams on his own. Like that, finally, he had a chance. He absolutely had a chance, and he threw a Jimmy G pass on that final pit on that.
Oh,
he did. He threw a Jimmy G pass, deep ball shot, wide open, and it was like 10 yards.
He threw it at the guy's like entrails, like the guy was already past the spot.
And then the next play, he gets hit and fumbles the ball. That's exactly a Jimmy G sequence.
They've had a center issue all year this year. My brother's been talking about their center needs to get taken out back and smacked.
But McDaniels learned from Kyle. He's the same as Kyle. Like they don't.
O-line is not important to them.
O-line's just not an emphasis. Like they'll have one good guy on it, but otherwise It's like you get average guys. Okay, we'll patch it up with Jake Brendel. Okay, we'll Alex Mack left. We'll get this guy that's never played. Oh, he's doing okay. Oh, Mike McGlinchey left. We should probably finally get a good right tackle. Colton McKivitz is okay. He's not.
I like how I love freaking John Lynch, but he was trying to sell us on freaking McKivitz, and I'm like, bro, you are the ultimate politician. You could sell a used paper bag to me. You're not selling me on McKivitz. It's just not going to happen.
That's why he's President Lynch now. He's president. Yeah. He's going to sell you. He's going to kiss the babies. He's going to shake your hands. He's President Lynch, man. I love that.
He's going to hug the old ladies, kiss the babies.
Take
your wife.
No, he might take your wife.
Take your wife. He's a handsome lad. So
yeah,
he does have weird ears though. If you ever have a chance, go look at his ears. They look like something out of like Legend of Zelda. It's really weird.
They're like this. He got them.
Yeah, they're like really long.
Yeah, really long.
I mean, you could have big flappers like mine, but
he'll steal your wife though with those big ears.
Yeah, he's a handsome lad. Yeah. All right, everybody. Everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday. Thursday.
Appreciate everybody that hopped in tonight. Good chat tonight. Thank you for the super chats for those that dropped them. And again, thank you for all the support, everybody. We love you. Have a good night. We'll catch you next week. Peace.
Oodles.